Welcome back to the Frozen Forum podcast. This is episode 28. We haven't gotten a podcast out to you for the past 2 weeks, and that is
One week.
because,
1 week.
okay,
We
one
just
week.
missed 1 week.
Yes, we missed 1 week, but there has been lots and lots of action from the Four Nations face-off to 5 Habs games. We have a lot to talk about today. This is going to be a longer episode, but first off, Alex, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I mean, how could I not be doing good? I won't lie, I feel a little bit conflicted because going into that Four Nations break, I felt one way, and I feel like I need to be feeling a different way now. And I don't know, it's a little conflicting because, we had a plan and now we got to change the plan, but I think it's for a good reason.
I agree. I had that same feeling thinking about it before this episode, but I'd like to talk about the new plan. We can talk about it later in the episode, but I think we should just start things off right away, hot with our 3 stars of the week.
Let's
We've
do it.
had 5 games since the Four Nations face-off completed, with our last game being our second game against Buffalo. I think it's an undisputed 3 stars of the week, but I'd like
Let's
to
hear
hear
it.
yours first. I'd like to hear yours
Let's hear
first.
it. Let's hear it. Okay, fine. You want mine? I'll give you mine. Okay. I've thought for 3 seconds about this. Just the last 3 seconds. Ready? First, undisputed, easy Nick Suzuki. There's no
Yep.
comment, no anything. Right? I don't know who you're gonna put second, but in my head, second is Cole Caulfield.
Yep.
I don't know who you're gonna put third. Man, I feel like you're gonna want to put Slavkovsky third. I want to put Lane Hudson third.
I know. You're a Lane Hudson gooner. You stroke him off all the time. That's a very fair
Yeah,
third pick. But yeah, that's what I had. I had Suzuki, Caulfield, 5.
Slavkovsky.
Yes.
I like it. Look, I've really liked Slavkovsky's play. Don't get me wrong. This is not like a comment on like me saying Lane is not saying I haven't loved Slavkovsky. It's just like Lane Hudson, man. Like, what a guy. I watched him live, right? I was at that Buffalo game and in Buffalo. And man, what an exciting player to watch. Like, this kid gets his like there's nothing like it. And Slavkovsky had a great game there too. I mean, this guy when he gets feisty, he's just got it. You know what I mean? He's just right there. And he makes everything else happen. Like, no matter what you want to say about Caulfield and Suzuki, their play is only enabled because of Slavkovsky. Like, Slavkovsky going into the corners, winning puck battles, taking people out, like that's what leads to the other two scoring and the other two actually producing things for the team.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you got to have your 6'4" guy doing that type of work. When you have Suzuki and Caulfield, you don't know who's going to shoot it. Then they both become equal threats. And it's pretty hard to stop them. And that's what we saw a lot of this past week. It's pretty impressive.
Very impressive. And I mean, look, I think the Nick Suzuki thing, I mean, hey, has there been anybody better in the last 5 games in the entire league? Like, I don't know, 13 points in 5 games. Like, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. That's like, I heard that number and I was like, there's no way it's actually, and then you look at it and it's like every single goal we're scoring is from Nick Suzuki or Nick Suzuki scoring it, like, it's like, okay, cool.
Yeah, I lost track of the amount of times I saw his name on the score sheet. I didn't know it was 13-5. That's pretty crazy.
13-5. Like 2 off of a 3-point per game pace. Like, closer to a 3-point per game pace than a 2-point per game pace. And 2-point per game pace is crazy as it is. With that, he's tied. I think it was tied for 17th in the league in points.
Wow. Pretty impressive.
I wonder where top 30 point scorer. Like, isn't that ridiculous? Like, we haven't had one of those since, like, I don't even know when. Have we had a top 30 point scorer, like, ever? Like, in my lifetime?
In our lifetimes, no. Maybe back in the day when we were getting a cup every other year.
Yeah, probably. Oh, well, definitely then. But, like, probably not since, like, Guy Lafleur do we have somebody that's actually in these conversations for top point producers in the NHL.
And we have multiple guys that could potentially be up there. Like, even next season. Like,
yeah. Oh, no. I mean, we're just coming. Like, this team, the best part of this team, Nathan, we've talked about it all season, is that whatever we see this year, there's still so much more coming. There's so much more that's going to happen. It's like, that's the best thing. Because you can watch this team, you can love what they're doing, okay, because what they're doing is great. right? I mean, the personality of this team, the way they like approach the game, it's fantastic. We're winning games 5 in a row, man. Like we got to talk about that at some point in time.
Yeah, let's talk about it. The plan that we had for the Habs. What was it?
The plan was to sell everything. The plan was, oh my gosh, we are actually such a bad team. How do we look this awful and are playing this awful? We're barely beating San Jose. We're barely beating whatever. We go into the Four Nations break like that, right? And that's what we talked about. And then, I honestly, this is what I think happened. Okay, I think Nick Suzuki sat down with Kent Hughes, and Kent Hughes said, "Hey, here's the status of the team. We're 6 points out of a playoff spot. We're 5 points away from being fifth last in the NHL. We've got a bunch of UFAs and stuff. We're going to sell. Unless you guys can prove that we shouldn't." I think that was the conversation. And Nick Suzuki probably went in that meeting and said, you know what? All of these guys you're talking about that you want to trade, we love them. We love their energy. We love how they contribute to the team. We love everything about them. Don't trade them. And Ken Hughes was said, hey, look, you guys are forcing my hand right now. What am I supposed to do? You know, I can't be fifth last in the NHL and have held on to all of my UFAs. Like, that doesn't make sense, right? And so I think Suzuki took that back to the locker room and said, hey, boys, we got to go. We got to get the move on. If we don't win games, you're traded, you're traded, you're traded, you're traded. And we love all of those guys. Go win hockey games.
Yeah, I mean, it was as simple as that. And moreover, the plan was 2 episodes ago, we said if Montreal can't get back on 2 games won out of every 3 within that next week, just sell. Sell the team. Try and get as high of a pick this year as we could get. But now, once again, we are 1 point out of a playoff spot, again, a wild card spot. Again.
Which is the playoff spot.
Yeah, playoff spot.
Yeah, no, it's honestly, again, this flip-flop of the team. The one thing I will say, if there's any team in the NHL who was going to benefit from having a week and a little bit off of hockey, it was Montreal, right? And there's 2 reasons for that, but the main one is Lane Hudson, okay? And the reason I say Lane Hudson is because the power play is completely driven by Lane, right? He's the quarterback. He's the guy who's making space. Even when he doesn't get assists on goals, the stuff that he's doing on the blue line enables the rest of the play. And so you could see before the break, we hadn't scored a power play goal in like 4 or 5 games. It was like not even power plays. It was like 20 power plays that we were like 0-20 or something like that. Like 1-20, whatever. So Lane Hudson gets to break. Now you got to remember, this kid is used to playing college hockey, where they play like 40 games over the whole season, not just like the half season. So I mean, he looked tired. He looked like he was a little bit, you know, he's fighting himself a little bit sometimes, right? He comes out of that break. There's Lane Hudson again, you know, nice and relaxed again, nice and energized again. You know, all of a sudden, power play starts scoring. All of a sudden, you know, 5-on-5 starts scoring. I wonder if there's a correlation there, right? So we're going to benefit from the break because of that. We also needed the break to reset just as a team, you know, come back, remember where we're at, have Slavkovsky go and play volleyball in Florida, which I think is what he did, or that's what he said he was going to do. I don't actually know if he did, but you know, you need that reset because these guys really, really care about this team, and the locker room is fantastic. So having that kind of break, I think you're seeing the effects right now. And the only question now is whether or not they can continue to do it.
Yeah, 100%. I'm still going to call you the Lane Hudson Glazer because it's not just Lane Hudson that needed the break. The whole team was gassed after January. After January, every single one of those Habs needed that time off.
I think the difference, though, the reason I say it's Lane is because Lane's the rookie, right? Lane's the one who's never done it before. All of those other guys, they've done it before, right? Were they gassed? Absolutely. Break was needed, right? You needed a few games off and stuff, right? Speaking of which, Josh Anderson should be benched right now. This guy is actually ridiculous. But like, Lane's the rookie. Lane's the new guy in the room. Even Heineman's a rookie, but he got a break because he got hit by a car. So like, you know, so Lane's realistically the only one in that locker room who's never been through an 82 game season. I mean, obviously Doc too, but that's for other reasons. But yeah, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, that's all I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to glaze it. Like, I mean, I love him, but like, if I had a daughter his age, would I ask her to like go find him and marry him? Yeah, but like that's like all I'm saying is like, okay.
There's gonna be so many comments just saying this guy loves Lane Hudson. This guy's gay for Lane Hudson.
I love him. I honestly,
It's fair though. It is completely fair. This guy, he has been quarterbacking our power play. Without a doubt, he's creating space that sometimes he doesn't even need, but just makes it look magnificent. Do you have 10 questions ready?
I have 10 questions ready. You want to go straight into it?
Let's just run it.
Let's do it. The Frozen Forum Flash, everybody. This is episode 28. We've got 10 questions. We've got 5 on the Montreal Canadiens, 5 on the rest of the NHL, all for Nathan DaCosta here. He's going to have, I don't know, something about 30 seconds to answer each. We're going to try to go through them as quick as possible. And so with that, let's start the Frozen Forum Flash. Question number 1. What is the one thing you would do before the trade deadline? Would you bring someone in, or would you ship someone out?
I'm getting rid of Savard. I'm getting rid of Savard and drawing up one of our guys from the minors. Honestly, that's probably it. I don't really have many other complaints right now. Mike Matheson, even though we don't love him, he hasn't done too bad since the break's been done. David Savard, I really, really don't know why he's still on this roster. I think he's got to go. But other than that, I like the team right now. Who wouldn't like the team right now? We're on a 5-game streak. Let's keep it going.
It's hard not to like him. We'll go to question number 2. We talked about it. Nick Suzuki has scored 13 points over the 5 games since the break. Is this A, his response to not being on that Four Nations roster? B, his ascent to one of the best centers in the league, just out of, growing? Or C, a captain leading his team to victory so that the group can stay together?
I think it's A, C, and the fact that he knows this team has the capability to make the playoffs, which I guess is tied to captaincy. Like, the leadership he's displayed over the past 5 games has been unreal. Like, I thought it was already phenomenal throughout the whole season, but it's just on a whole nother level these last few games. To have 13 points in 5 games coming out of that break without, like, the other superstars doing the same, I mean, speaks volumes. And now we're 1 win outside of the playoff spot, thanks to the leadership by Nick Suzuki.
Yeah. He's doing it all right now. I gotta say, like, people hate on him. People say he's overrated. This guy is the real deal, I think, is that's what he's showing right now. Question number 3 for you. Really simple question. Is this 5-game winning streak real?
It doesn't feel real at all, especially the shutout to the Hurricanes. That one felt like a fever dream. I mean, a playoff team, like a pretty sure playoff team, the Carolina Hurricanes, for us to shut them out is unreal. Mind you, we did get a few bounces, but hey, we'll take those. It's hockey. It's how it goes. We had that one. Who else did we have? Was it the Devils? Who was before Carolina?
What a great question that we should definitely know. I just know we won.
Yeah, we won. We won against Carolina. And then we beat Buffalo 2 times, and we beat San Jose. Who did we play before Carolina? That is a big question.
I think you might be right in saying the Devils, but I could be wrong. No, Ottawa.
Yes, Ottawa. Because Ottawa is a sleeper too. We're competing with them for that wildcard spot. And for us to get that win, massive. We need to drive their motivation down, and Montreal needs to keep going if we want that spot. And I'll speak more on that after.
We'll go into question number 4. You're going to make fun of me later for this asking this question, but it's fine. Lane Hudson is the fastest Hab defenseman in history to reach 50 points in their career. The Habs have been around for 116 years and have had no shortage of all-star defensemen in that time period. Oh, and by the way, the second place rookie defenseman in scoring has 40 less points than Lane this season. Why is Lane not the favorite for the Calder?
It's Celebrini's the favorite right now, right? I don't know. It's pretty hard to dispute Lane right now because I saw another stat along with that 50 points, quits to 50 points. The most recent defenseman to do that was in 93, and it was Lidstrom. He's up there with elite company. I mean, he's already one of the leaders of this team. I don't know how you don't see that he's the real deal. I get that Celebrini's like your kind of poster guy, the rookies of the NHL this year, like Bedard was. But you got to hand it to Lane, man. Like, he has just as many points, and he's contributing more to the team.
He's the defenseman. The thing that people don't understand about this, he's a freaking defenseman. You're comparing defenseman points to forward points, and he's beating them. Anyways, let's go on. Question number 5. Let's say the Habs are buyers at the trade deadline. Okay? Who would you want to pick up, understanding that the cost of acquisition could be very high for some of these players? Out of the 4, who would you want? Would you want Elias Pettersson, not the defenseman, the forward, Brock Nelson, Dylan Cousins from Buffalo, or Trevor Zegras?
I want a defenseman, but out of those guys, who's the second guy?
Brock Nelson, New York Islanders.
I don't want Nelson because he would just add more age to the team, and I don't think the team needs that. I think Mike Matheson is the oldest guy we need there. I would say Dylan Cousins. Dylan Cousins is a tough player and also very skilled, which we are lacking players that have both of those traits, tough and skilled. I think some of, like, the main guy that's popped out recently is Slavkovsky. But you have Suzuki, you have Caulfield. They have the skills. They aren't necessarily tough guys. We have tougher guys like Jack-Eye, but he's not skilled. I like Cousins in our roster there.
I like it too. We'll see what we do in the next 2 days. We'll go into the rest of the NHL, though. The first thing I want to ask you about is the Atlantic Division. The Tampa Bay Lightning are 9-1 in their last 10. The Toronto Maple Leafs are 8-1-1. Florida is 8-2. Out of those 3, one of them will win the Atlantic. Which one will it be?
It's going to be Florida. Florida just has way too much depth. They've all obviously had a little bit weaker schedules these past 10 games. But yeah, Florida is just so deep, man. Like, I saw a stat the other day. They have 3 of the top 4 picks from whatever year Barkov was drafted. It was like Barkov, Bennett, and Reinhardt, I think. They just have so much depth, and they're the reigning Stanley Cup champs. Leafs are going to choke it as per usual. I don't believe in Vasilevsky. It's going to be Florida.
Gonna be Florida. I like the pick. Question number 7 for you. Big question. We played him. Maybe it was a pitch. I don't know. Will Mikko Rantanen A, be extended before the end of the trade deadline? B, traded again at the trade deadline? Or C, used as a rental for the Carolina Hurricanes, after which he will leave for free agency and maybe come to Montreal?
I think C would be the more likely scenario. They're just going to rent him out, let him play the rest of the season. And then again, we talked about this earlier. If the Canes do make a deep cup run, he's probably going to stay in Carolina. Why wouldn't you? But if they don't make it past the second round, especially with the team they have, he's going to the free agency.
I like it because there is rumors that Carolina might look to trade him.
I know.
And
I've heard that too.
That would be pretty funny, I have to say. It'd be really funny is if they traded him back to Colorado, but then didn't get Nietzsche's back in that trade. Anyways, let's go into question number 7. Or question number 8, sorry. Boston sent Trent Frederick yesterday to the Edmonton Oilers. Is this the sign that Boston is throwing in the hat for the season? And if so, do you think Brad Marchand will get traded before the deadline?
I think Brad Marchand's one of those players like Sid, where he's been with one team his whole life. I don't think he's going anywhere just for sentiment. So Brad Marchand's not going anywhere, but I do think the Bruins are throwing in the cap. Frederick is one of the top guys this season. They don't have a whole lot of depth like they've had in previous seasons. They still have Pasternak. They still have Marchand. Honestly, I haven't been watching the Bruins that much, but I have seen Frederick's name on the score sheet a few times, so I do recognize him, but yeah, I'd assume they're throwing in the hat.
Thrown in the hat, indeed. I don't think Brad Marchand has trade protection, so it might not actually be his choice. But we'll keep going with that. Question number 9. The Canucks, after trading JT Miller, now sit 2 points out of a playoff spot. Should Elias Pettersson be traded?
So they're going to get rid of Miller and then Pettersson? I don't think he should. He's too skilled of a player, and I think he likes Vancouver. He didn't like Miller. And now that they've clawed back. What was that face for?
It was just a good comment. It's like
Yeah.
he likes Vancouver, doesn't like Miller. It's fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, they've clawed back. I think he just stays there for the season. If they can't make the playoffs, then something's got to change. Then maybe next season he gets traded. I think he stays in Vancouver.
I like it. We'll go question number 10, last question of the Frozen Forum Flash. Which team is more painful to play for? Is it the Buffalo Sabres or the Buffalo Sabres?
The Buffalo Sabres. And when you framed that question, I was like, okay, he's going to say Buffalo. What other team is he going to say? And you said Buffalo, yeah. Yeah, man, that is terrible. Seems like you've just had a bad spell since 99, since that bad call against the Stars. It's been bad ever since. I got nothing else to say. Buffalo, I hope something goes your way because you are the closest team for me to watch. Because I'm from Niagara, and you also have cheap tickets.
You
I'd
know
love
what
to
we
see
hope
you.
goes their way? A first-round pick in exchange for Dylan Cousins.
Yes, that is perfectly fine. I
Yeah,
would do that any day.
yeah. We'll help. We'll help. Don't worry, guys. We're helping.
Yes.
Watch Dylan Cousins. Let's start talking about this actually, because big point. Dylan Cousins' numbers have not been great this season. People online are very torn between is this the Dylan Cousins isn't actually that good, or is Dylan Cousins actually a phenomenal player? He just plays for Buffalo. Because that's happened 64 other times. Namely someone you talked about earlier, Sam Reinhart, also Ryan O'Reilly when he was there. The list goes on, honestly. Jack Eichel, we can keep going. Is Dylan Cousins like the steal, that like the whatever you call it, the needle in the rough? That's not the right phrase. God, you know what I'm
Needle
trying
in,
to say. You know what I'm
the
trying to
needle in
say.
the haystack. The needle
The
in the
needle.
haystack.
Yeah. Is he just like that great find? The penny on the ground.
Yeah,
I don't know the phrases, bro. Man, I'm actually tripping right now.
he's just on the wrong team.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's just on the wrong team. I mean, I remember watching this guy in the World Juniors. He had so much potential, and I still think he has so much potential. Again, it's just he's on the Buffalo Sabres. You saw what happened to Jack Eichel. He gets out of Buffalo and he starts playing with other players that can actually play, and he wins a cup. Get Cousins to the team that's going to win the cup this year. Just get him there.
Like Canadiens de Montreal, right? That's who you're talking about? Okay.
Just get him there, and you're going to see the superstar that he is. He's going to have so much depth. The one thing I am worried about for Montreal is our goaltending. Because even though we've won 5 games, I wouldn't say they've looked overly spectacular.
Hey, look. I look into the future, Nathan, and I see this guy named Jacob Fowler. You think that I'm in love with Lane Hudson? Just wait till Jacob Fowler gets here. Okay? Just wait. Just wait. That's the future of the goaltending situation. Right now, all we need is a replacement level goalie, right? It is like an average goalie in the NHL. That's what we're getting. We're getting good saves. We're not getting spectacular saves. We're getting mostly good play. And the thing actually, I think it's really good for this team to not have a superstar goalie right now. Because what it's forcing the team to do, the team knows that the goaltender is not going to bail them out. They have to play defensively, right? They have to play well in their own zone. And what happens, I think, is not only do you get a little bit more defensive awareness because you recognize that your goalie isn't as great, is you actually end up getting pucks out of your own zone faster because you're more defensively aware, because you're caring more about your play. You're trying to back check because you don't think that your goalie's going to save the 3-on-2, right? Like those are good things for a young team to learn, because we have to be doing that, not just this year, every year in the future, no matter who the goalie is. One of the big problems I think that happened when Carey Price was here is the team knew it was Carey Price, right? And so they would go, hey, it's 3-on-2. Don't worry, Price will get it. And they would lollygag on their way back. And then the other team would get so many more shots, end up scoring more goals, because we just assumed the Price was good and it was going to bail us out.
Yeah, I agree with that, but again, that's why I was saying earlier that we need some defensive power. So you gave me 4 forwards for that Frozen Four and Flash question. We need another defender, man. We need another Doesn't have to be quite as skilled as Lane Hudson, but we need someone who can skate, unlike Matheson and Savard.
I've got somebody for you. His name is David Reinbacher.
This is true. This is very true. I mean, a tenured NHL player.
I want to make a bet right now. I want to make a bet. I saw somebody else say this online, so I'm just going to kind of like say the same thing, but I'll take credit for it. David Reinbacher will be on the Montreal Canadiens starting roster next October, first game of the season, and he will not get sent down again after that. That's my pick. The question I don't know is whether or not we will be seeing him this season in the NHL. I think we should, because he's playing exceptionally well in Laval. I think he has a goal already, if I'm not mistaken.
I think we give him a game or two, because man, it's hard watching Savard out there, man.
It is hard watching Savard because the guy is like so slow, but I think he's playing with Jack Guy right now, and Jack Guy's been playing really well. I've loved what he's been doing most of the time. Yeah, listen. In the 4 games he's played in Laval so far, David Reinbacher's got 1 assist. Sorry, not a goal. He got the assist. And he's a +3, which matters for defensemen, right? Plus
matter. Will he get the raise this season? He's got to put up more numbers, in my opinion, to get the try this season, especially if we're going to try and actually make the playoffs now, which we were not considering 2 weeks ago. I think you got to let your guys that have been here play.
I just look at, like, again, I'll say it again. I've said it before. David Reinbacher, to me, has always seemed like the perfect person to put with Lane Hudson. Like, I think they would play so well together. They would play off each other so well together. I've seen them play a little bit together. I think they had, like, the rookie camp back last July or something like that. They were playing together, and they look great. They made some passes that I was like, man, this is pretty cool. 6'4", you need somebody bigger with Lane to begin with. I like the idea of developing this culture in the team of, hey, we got to move past Savard, right? I think they love him, to be completely honest. I think in the locker room, they look at him like dad, like maybe not like Shea Weber level, because Shea Weber was like, dad to like everybody, because everybody on that team was like 19. But no, like, I think that's how they kind of look at him. I think it needs to be hey, we're going to let Savard go to some contender. We're going to bring up this kid named David Reinbacher. We're going to bring him into the group and really show what he can do. I like that idea. If not that, I still like trading for that Islanders defenseman.
Dobson?
Noah Dobson.
Yeah, I don't mind that either. For this season, just thinking short term this season, I think that makes far more sense than bring Reinbacher up.
Yeah, I mean that's not a short term solution though. Like if we're getting Noah Dobson, which would be insane as a side note, like what a crazy great add to this team Noah Dobson would be. Like, again, I honestly looking into the future, Nathan. Where are the gaps in our team? Right, where are the gaps? Right defense, center. We have wingers for days. We've got left defensemen for days.
The goalies. We have
goalies. He's coming. Jacob Fowler's coming.
We have Jacob Fowler, but he can't play every single game. And Jakob Dobbs had a phenomenal start. Look, I'm not sold yet on the goalies. I'm sold that our defense will be good. I'm sold that our forwards will be good.
I'm not sold on the right side of our defense. That's what I'm trying to say. Right? Going into the future, I like David Reinbacher as a 1. I like Logan Mailloux maybe as a 3. I don't know who's 2. I don't think we have a second right defense option in the system. I don't think Alex Carey is a long-term solution.
Is Dobson a third or right defense? Let's get him.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like Dobson, or it's offer sheeting Evan Bouchard in the offseason, or it's...
No.
What do you mean, no?
No Evan Bouchard.
Why no Evan Bouchard?
He's like a little bit better version of Matheson. Like Matheson's Walmart. Walmart and Bouchard's Target. Like that's...
No. Listen. I don't understand.
Bouchard plays on Edmonton with the most skilled forwards in the league.
From a defense perspective, which wouldn't be affected by whatever. Okay, Mike Matheson, according to Evolving Hockey, is a 23 overall player. 51st percentile offense, 10th percentile defense. Okay? Based on that, where do you think Evan Bouchard will be when I pull this up?
Okay, well, he's going to be like 60th percentile defense and offense. He's gonna be high on offense because he shoots a lot. So he's probably gonna be like 90th percentile.
Okay, so he's 93rd percentile offense, 47th percentile defense. 47th doesn't sound great, except that his overall, because of that combination, is a 4th percentile. He's in the top 6% of defensemen, statistically, in the NHL.
I think the statistics are a bit skewed because he plays with the Edmonton frickin' Oilers.
Maybe his offense. Look, I'll give you his offense is skewed, but like his defensive numbers are not that bad compared to what he's doing, and he's only 25. Like this is not a.
Bouchard's 25.
Yeah.
God, thought this guy was.
Yeah.
He's 20.
Yeah.
25.
This is what I'm saying. And listen. That's only on a 1 year range. On a 3 year range, Nathan. Okay. Over the last 3 years, Bouchard is a 98 overall, 98th percentile offense, 67th percentile defense.
I'm just saying it helps when you're playing with the greatest hockey player ever.
Of course it does. Of course, I'll give you the offensive component of that. But like the defensive stuff would not be heavily affected from a stats point, right?
That's fair.
In comparison, holy, I did not know this was this bad. In comparison, in the last 3 years for Mike Matheson, he's a 13 overall, 20th percentile offense, 8th percentile defense.
I wonder what's Savard?
Actually, this is a great comparison because the last time I picked this up, David Savard was actually like, I was like, oh wow, this is actually a solid guy somehow. Never mind, I take it back. I take it all back. I take whatever I was saying back. Oh God, what is our defense, man? David Savard is a 4 overall. He's okay. Wait, somehow I actually don't know how this works. He's 41th percentile in offense, 2nd percentile in defense.
This is what I'm saying. We need to.
Sorry, Nathan. I don't know what I was talking about. I just pulled up his 1 year stuff. His 1 year stuff isn't any better.
Yeah. He's really not.
Who else do we have in our defense?
Look up Jack Eye.
Arbor Jack Eye this year, 1 year. Mm-hmm. So he might be a 6 overall, 24 offense, 13 defense. Does he have a 3 year? Has he been in the league for 3 years? Okay, never mind. We're not even going to that. God. Jack Eye is not supposed to be. Okay, these are numbers that are supposed to be third pairing, okay? Like you're supposed to have one guy because the intangibles that Jack Eye brings as a 24-year-old, right? First of all, he's young, but second of all, the intangibles make up for a lot of the stat stuff, right? That's fine. I'm fine with having a 6th overall defenseman be our 6th defenseman. Everybody else better be better than that.
Okay, let's look at Guli and Hudson now. I think Guli should be. Okay, let me guess. Guli defense, I'll say 40, but his offense might be 70.
Okay, so Guli, what do you want, 1 year or 3 year?
Give me 3 year.
3 year, his defense is an 80th percentile. Offense, 58th percentile. Overall, 67. Take that every day. Second pair.
We'll take that.
Okay.
Of course we will. Now I got to look up our boy Laner.
Lane Hudson, defensively, this year. I don't know how they have 3 year numbers for this guy. Apparently they have 3 year numbers. 1 year. Because he's been in the league basically 1 year. Defensively, 4th percentile. It's not good. But I will remind you that a lot of those defensive numbers come from playing with Mike Matheson for half the season and playing with David Savard for part of the other half of the season. The defense numbers have actually been ticking up. It used to be lower. I've been paying attention. Offensively, 95. Overall, 74.
Yeah, that's nuts. Yeah, I guess that would skew your rating.
21.
That'd skew your rating playing with Michael.
I mean, look, you're playing with, what is it? What did I just say? 10th percentile defenseman? Like what do you think? Savard was 4th, yeah. Like this is what I'm saying. What do you expect is going to come from his defensive numbers when he's playing with this caliber of player? And I will say, actually, Evolving Hockey's model, that's only one model. I saw player cards come out from one of the other guys I follow. They had Lane Hudson as an 89th percentile overall.
Wow.
Top 11% of players. All
in the
whole league. He's behind Makar, Werenski, Hughes.
I'm assuming Makar's on Evolving Hockey.
Oh. Yeah. Let's litmus test this. Cale Makar is a 97 overall.
What's
91th percentile offense. So it says that Lane Hudson is actually creating more offensively. And defensively is at 61, which is obviously very good for having a lot of offense.
Yeah. What about Hughes? Hughes has to be the top of that list.
Quinn Hughes, yeah, I'm pretty sure his statistics are just ridiculous. Yeah, he's a 99th percentile offense, 99th percentile overall, 78th percentile defense. This guy's the real deal.
Yeah, that's nuts. Hey, Quinn Hughes, if you want to come to Montreal, we'll take you gladly.
I think, look, this is Quinn Hughes at 25. Wait till Lane Hudson's 25 is all I'm going to say. And wait till he's playing with actually good, like a good freaking defenseman.
I agree. Which hopefully is Noah Dobson very soon. That'd be awesome.
Hopefully. I mean, it's him, or it's Reinbacher next season, or it's, somebody else that we bring in. But this is what I'm saying. Going back to our first discussion, I think long term, goalie, sure, it's not been proven yet. I pulled up Jacob Fowler's stuff this season. He's played 31 games now this season with Boston College. He's got a 9.39. He's got a 1.67 goals against. He has 6 shutouts in 31 games for 1 shutout every 5 games. Yeah, that's Jacob Fowler for you. That's the prospect pool. Look, you can say whatever you want about Dobes, but he looked good at the beginning of the season. This is his first season in the NHL. This is expected. You can say what you want about Samuel Montembeault, but this is a guy who was selected for 4 Nations for a reason, right? Let him iron out the kinks. I thought he played really good the last week. Not letting in anything that I was like, oh man, that was really his fault, So that's the one. The other one is center. I don't know what we're doing centers long term.
Another thing with this 4 Nations, I think fires have been lit under Montembeault, Caulfield, Suzuki. Caulfield, Suzuki not making the teams, and Montembeault for not getting to play.
Caulfield, man, I love what he's doing on the ice right now.
Yeah, it's actually just insane. Like, I mean, against, I think it was the Carolina game, just so much deception that Anderson had to respect his shot. And then Suzuki was just coming down the other wing, not going too fast, just right where he needed to be. Easy in the net.
Easy. Hey,
but for Caulfield to recognize that too, it's what he needs.
We gotta say this. People have been saying about Cole Caulfield, all the haters, all the Leafs fans. They've been saying that Cole Caulfield is the only 40-goal scorer to never score 30. Right? That's what they always said. Cole Caulfield is a 30-goal scorer, everybody.
Yep. Yes, sir. He is there. And, hey, we still have 20 more games.
22.
20 games? Yes, 22 more games.
Or 21? 21? 22? 21?
22 or 21.
We played 61? Yeah, so 21.
21 games in hand. 1 point is all we need.
So what do you think? What do you think? Like, Caulfield, is he going to hit 40?
Yeah, I think he's going to hit 40. I think the question is, does he hit 45?
I like it. Suzuki, is he hitting? I mean, he's going to hit 80. Is he going to hit 90?
What's he at right now?
I want to say he's at 60 something in 61 games.
I think he'll get to 85 as well. Yeah, like 85 points.
85 sounds like a good number. Do you know we haven't had an 80-point scorer since like the 90s?
We're trending in the right direction.
He's at 65. He's at 65 points over 61 games.
Well, 20 games in hand. Yeah, he's getting to 90. He's getting to 90.
Yeah. There you go. Who else? Lane Hudson's now at 48 points on the season. 21 games left. What's he getting to? 60? 65?
Let's give him 70. Let's give him 70.
I've converted Nathan. He was calling me stupid for saying he was going to get to 70 this season. I like it. I like the number. If he scored 70, that would be like, he would be 4th all time in rookie defenseman scoring.
Wow. Who's ahead of him there? Like
I wonder if
Bobby Orr.
But let me pull it back up. I had it up earlier.
Bobby Orr, Lidstrom, and
So first is Larry Murphy, the LA Kings. Second is Brian Leetch Larry Murphy 76, Brian Leetch 71. If he actually got to 70 this season, Lane Hudson would be 3rd all time in rookie scoring, in rookie defenseman scoring.
And if he gets to 77, he's 1st all time. So Lane, let's keep it going. Let's get 1.5 points a game, baby.
Yeah, I don't see why it's not possible. I mean, again, the thing I've been saying this to you all season, Nathan. Lane Hudson's scoring is not dependent on how good Lane Hudson is. It's dependent on how the rest of the team understands how good Lane Hudson is.
Because they don't know where he's going to be, what he's going to be doing.
They don't.
He's
and
fine.
And when they learn, they'll be in the right spots. I mean, it's exemplified what I was trying to say earlier about like how Lane Hudson rejuvenates this whole team just by him being rested. You watch that first game. Lane Hudson, first power play after the break. Face-off win to Lane. Lane walks the blue line, comes in a little bit, looks like he's going to shoot, passes it to Patrick Laine. Patrick Laine one-times it for a goal. First power play, back from the break, and a goal. That play only happens because Lane Hudson skates the blue line and walks in. And when he walks in, the guy who's supposed to be defending Laine, he has to respect the fact that Lane can shoot from there. Slavkovsky's in front of the net. So when Hudson passes it, Laine is actually open. Right? One of the whole problems with our power play has been that the defense has been putting a guy right on Patrick Laine and staying there. And then that whole side of the ice is off limits. Right? Since then, Caulfield has a goal from that side of the ice. Laine has a goal. A few goals, I think. I think he scored like 3 within the first 3 games.
Suzuki's going it's just...
It's what happens.
It's working.
It's what happens when you have good defense. As a side note, with 48 points, Lane Hudson is already 22nd overall. All time.
Very solid. Yeah, I don't think 70 is out of the question at all. 7, though?
77 is hard. 77 is hard. Realistically speaking, okay, the absolute max cap that Lane could score is 2 points per game for the rest of the season. Now, I'm not saying he's going to do that. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm saying the cap of what he could do is 2 points per game, which would be a lot of points, by the way.
42 more points.
Yeah, a 90-point season.
He'd blow everything out of the water. And if that were to happen, we're in the playoffs.
Not a question. We're not even in the playoffs. We're in the third spot in the Atlantic. Like I don't care what Tampa and Florida and Toronto do if he's getting that.
Yeah. Unreal. It's pretty exciting. Next, another thing I want to talk about. I haven't spoken too much on it yet, but the frozen form. The Four Nations face-off.
The Four Nation face-off. You watched the game. For whatever reason, I didn't.
Yeah, I don't know why you didn't watch that, but it's okay. Yeah.
Connor McDavid with the winner. Can you just explain the feelings? I don't want you to explain the goal. Everybody's seen it. Explain the feelings.
Let me tell you. We were watching this game. This is when Alex and all of our other friends from school came to Europe for the week. We were actually in Lisbon, Portugal, watching this game it started at 2 a.m. because Portugal is 5 hours ahead. And so we're watching this game. We see it's 2-1, and it gets to be 2-2 with not a whole lot of time left. We're like, oh boy, it's already 4:30 in the morning. We're pretty tired. We also went to the bar. We were still feeling it a little bit. We're like, we just want to go to bed. But we knew something magical was going to happen. And thank God we stayed up. Well, when I say we, I mean me, Carter, and Oliver. Shout out to Carter and Oliver for making it up that late. And yeah, you see the rest. You know what happened. Connor McJesus does his thing and screams, "You USA," with all this ridiculous Trump stuff, which we can talk about off podcast because it's ridiculous. I just thought it was a nice thank you to the States for what's going on right now.
You really bleep those 2 words, but sure. Yeah, keep going.
Yeah. And the fact that hockey is our game, Connor McDavid let him know. I'm pretty sure you saw this. A McDonald's in Edmonton and a McDonald's in Markham.
I think he's from Markham. See this.
Switched their name from McDonald's to McDavid's. I don't know if it's still McDavid's, but that was pretty cool. I wish I was in Canada to go to a McDavid's for a day.
I can't say I would have gone just because of that, but yeah, it definitely very cool. That's the impact that you have on a whole country. I mean, that game, the biggest NHL game in history, in
terms of people watching,
from a viewership perspective, from how the players talked about it. They're saying the vibe within the game was like, it was bigger than any game anybody had ever played in before, right? Now, obviously, you mentioned it, the discourse between the two countries, Canada and the United States right now, has made it so that there's other reasons as to why the game was so big, right? It's not just hockey. It's so much more than that, right? And for us to win, I mean, we had to win, right? The stuff that would have happened if we did not win that game could not have happened. Let's just say that. Let's just put it that way. It's expected. The one thing I will say on that play, though, you see Mitch Marner, that pass that he makes.
Yes.
I'd sign Mitch Marner.
I was also thinking that. Mitch Marner, the low-key hero for Canada, even though McDavid got that game winner, in the semis, or the game before, whatever it was, the game before the finals, if Crosby's drop pass, the most ludicrous drop pass I've ever seen in my life. This guy's like halfway into the zone, spins around, fires it back to center, and then Mitchy Marner just not even much of a dangle, just kind of walks in the zone and just snipes it. He saved Canada there. That game, we easily could have lost. We didn't really play that well. Mitch Marner saved us, and McJesus finished the rest against the USA.
Look, I think going into Olympics next year, Canada better have learned their lesson, which is to actually take good, skilled players, not some people that are just on, your coach's team, at Braden Hagel and Anthony Cirelli and whoever else was on that team that shouldn't have been. Look, I like Nick Suzuki needs to be on that team. There's not a question in my mind. Also, not a question that Cole Caulfield should be on the U.S. team, and I should like Tage Thompson.
Yeah, that one was tough too. To not see Tage
you know what I mean? I look at Team Canada and I look at what they have. Obviously, they made a mistake with goalies too. Jordan Binnington, great goalie. Don't get me wrong. There are better goalies. There have been better goalies. Canada better have learned its lesson. We said this about the World Juniors this year. The World Juniors, Canada loses in the quarterfinals. That's not because, Canada has bad prospects or, a bad development pipeline. That's because the team was picked awfully. We didn't bring the right people. I thought this tournament was way closer than it had to be because we brought the wrong people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I 100% agree.
Like outside of the first two lines, who was supposed to score, Nathan?
Yeah, they didn't have the depth that we easily could have had, that the Americans had. Also, I am very thankful that the Americans did not have the Hughes brothers, because that would have put us in a whole world of trouble too. But the things went the way they did. Another thing you mentioned was the Olympics. For the Olympics next year, I am really, really excited to see Russia in it again.
Yes.
I think that's the biggest competitor that we've been missing for a long time. Although I don't agree with anything Trump does or says, or anything that Putin does or says, I am very happy that Russia's coming back.
From a hockey perspective, absolutely.
Yes.
Having players be able to play. I mean, again, you look at what they could have done with this tournament, right? I get it. Four Nations was only supposed to be a taste. It was only supposed to be, let's see, whatever. You think about the teams that could have been in this thing, right? I mean, first of all, a team Russia, right? Obviously not there. A team rest of Europe, if you don't want to have a specific other country, right? I mean, bring it back to the World Cup that they played back when McDavid was young. Make a team North America, players under 23, right? Get Lane Hudson and Celebrini and Bedard and, like all of these guys on a team. Like, make that a team. I think this tournament could have been so much bigger, which is great because they're going to do that the year after the Olympics.
Another cool thing I saw online, I just look up Four Nations Face-Off on YouTube, and I'm seeing like big streamers online. So guys that like do online reaction videos that garner like hundreds of thousands, millions of views per video, watching this game, Canada USA. That does so much for the game that I feel like a lot of people don't understand. Like, it brings so many eyeballs to young eyes that will now grow with the game. And mark my words, the NHL over the next decade will be far bigger than the NBA, MLB, probably even NFL. I think NFL is big right now.
In terms of growth rates, absolutely.
Yeah. I think even in terms of viewership, like A lot of people are loving
You're not
hockey.
hitting, you're not hitting NFL viewership. It's not happening.
No, I think it will. I think it will
It's not happening.
within this next decade. In terms of like Super Bowl viewership, no way.
No. In terms of average viewership per game, in terms of any kind of viewership metric you want to bring up, total viewers over the whole season, we're not going to even hit, even though we have like 4 times the number of games.
Why? What's NFL average viewership?
High.
We can look it up.
High.
Yeah,
It's high.
okay.
They get a lot of viewers.
I guess it's fair. Red zone does help out a lot. Okay, but NBA, and MLB will be ahead of them for sure.
I like it. I like the picks. Look, you look at what this All-Star break looked like, right? You had the NFLs, right, where they had this skills competition thing, whatever that they do. I don't even know. I don't know why people watch that. You look at the basketball All-Star game. Oh my goodness, I don't know who wanted to watch that. Like you look at their skills competition that they did. Like, it reminds us of our skills competition that we used to do where Nikita Kucherov, spent 2 minutes trying to make one pass, right? Like, this game is a foundation for what we need to do in the future because it's great. It's so good for the game. And we're going to have the Olympics next year that's going to be just as big. We're going to have another World Cup-ish kind of thing 2 years after that. And what they want to do in the NHL, right? What they're saying right now is they want to alternate it. They want to do Olympics every 4 years, and one of these like World Cup-ish events every 4 years, right? And make it so that every 2 years you've got best on best hockey, which, again, crazy good for the game. But
I saw that. I 100% agree. Speaking of World Cup, there was an announcement like an hour before we made this. We started recording the World Cup. Like football, soccer. They just announced that in 2026, the winning country's team is going to split $1 billion. I think this will bring out the truest football or soccer. Dude, I'm getting so comfortable saying football now. This will bring out the best ever soccer we will ever see.
Here's the real question. Do you actually think in the World Cup of football or soccer, whatever you want to call it, do you actually think that any player has ever not played 100% in that tournament?
No. I'm just saying that there's probably been, I'm pretty sure every year there are politics involving every team. You have your superstars, you have your Lionel Messi's, you have your Ronaldo's. But in terms of depth of squads, it's the same thing in soccer. Now you're getting the guys who are going 150% at those tryouts, at every single practice, because it matters. $1 billion for those players that aren't Ronaldo or Messi. That is life-changing.
Is a lot of money.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money. Yo, can we send an NHL player in there? He can get the money and bring it back to the NHL. Like, holy.
Yeah, I'm gonna double check. It was $1 billion.
Nathan, before we end off though, I do want to bring up one thing back to hockey. I want to ask you one question, and then we should probably wrap up because otherwise nobody's gonna ever get to this part of the episode, or to those parts. Yeah, okay. You let me know if it's actually $1 billion. But the question I have for you, this is the trade deadline coming up this Friday. What was your experience with the trade deadline growing up? Was this something that you looked forward to? Was this something that like you care? Like I know how I was, but I wanted to know how you were growing up.
Look, back in the day, honestly, back then I wasn't as big of a hockey fan as I was now. So as long as PK Subban was on the Habs, I was fine. But then when he got traded to Nashville and saw we got Shea Weber, I was kind of like, man, that sucks because I love Montreal, but I love PK Subban. So what do? Do I convert to a Predators fan? It's never happening. Or do I just still love PK Subban? He's my favorite player. The Habs are still my favorite team, and that's what I stuck with. It was not like a super big thing I'd watch, to be honest.
So obviously
But now
now
more and more, yeah. Especially because I want to work in the hockey world, I am paying more and more attention to it.
Yeah. No, I mean, the reason I brought it up is because I know for me, loving watching the game of hockey, not just playing, because I'd never played, right? I just grew up loving the whole atmosphere of hockey. And so trade deadline was like the ultimate day in the season. It was like that and like the draft and like the start of free agency. Like those were the 3 big events in terms of how hockey teams come together. I remember when I was in elementary school, I would like race home. I'd get home at like 3 o'clock, and it'd be like the end of the deadline. And I'd turn on the TV, and I would just get like, you know how those last trades trickle in after 3 o'clock, because like 3 o'clock's the deadline. I would just get those last trades, and it'd be like, oh, this is so cool, you know, like that guy was, oh my gosh, we just traded for that guy, right? Like I remember where I was back in 2020 and 2021, because 2021 we traded for Gustafson and like the defenseman and somebody else, right? John Merrill, I think we got that day. Like I remember watching the TSN stream, you know, as these guys were added to our team. You know what I mean? Like this is my favorite day. This is why, to be completely honest, I use Twitter or X or whatever. It's because like I follow Friedman, I follow like all of these other guys that break things, and I'll have the TSN stream on, and I'll be watching Twitter and be like, oh, they just traded, and look up and they're saying, oh, we got breaking news, and I'm like, yeah, I know what the breaking news is because I'm paying attention to. Like I love this day. This is my favorite day of the season. One of my
Yeah, it's going to be good. The popcorn's going to be coming out soon. It's going to be just a exciting day. I mean, hopefully exciting for the Habs. Hopefully we can get Noah Dobson. We could get
I don't
Mikko
know.
Rantanen, because everyone on the planet, everyone on TikTok, everyone on Instagram thinks that the Habs are going to get Mikko Rantanen. I don't know why they think that, but yeah.
Don't know either. We've definitely not fueled
Yeah.
that conversation. Yeah, look, I don't know what to expect from a Habs perspective. What I do know is that there are a lot of teams who are really close. There are a lot of teams on the bubble. There are a lot of teams who think that they're real competitors. And to compound that, you have an idea that this draft is maybe not as deep as other drafts. And so that thought probably makes draft picks a little bit easier to trade. It probably makes, you know, some young prospects a little bit harder to trade, you know, like, or more difficult to trade for. So I'm just excited to see what happens. We've already had some big trades. Seth Jones, we haven't even talked about it. Seth Jones is now a Florida Panther. Crazy trade there. Talk about depth.
Depth.
Yeah.
My gosh.
Yeah, you were talking about depth earlier, and it's like, man, like yeah, they just, there you go. Here's a new defenseman for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, man.
it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I agree. That was all I had to talk about. I don't know what else.
So did I. I mean, we're up to the hour and 10 minute mark. So probably sign off here.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, everyone, once again, for watching this episode of the Frozen Forum podcast. For those of you that have made it this far, we really, really appreciate you very much. For those of you listening on Spotify, make sure that you give us a follow. Make sure you hit that star bell so that you give us that rating. It helps us grow on Spotify. Same thing for Apple Podcasts and Amazon Podcasts. For those of you listening on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe, hit that like button, leave a comment, hit that notification bell. It helps us out tremendously, helps us grow there. We are now at 72 subscribers. There are 21 games remaining. Who knows, if we hit that 100 subscriber goal, you will see our giveaway. If it doesn't happen before then, you'll have to wait for next season. But if you made it to this point, just make sure you hit that subscribe button and you'll know about the giveaway. You're going to have to cut that.
You'll know about something.
You'll know about something. If you hit that subscribe button, you'll know about something. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and make sure you tune in next week for another episode of the Frozen Forum podcast. Thank you, everyone. Au revoir et bonne soirée.